XFL regular season final home game in the most electric and passionate environment in spring football. The Dome, home of the St. Louis BattleHawks. Kaká Nation doing their part to get their team in the postseason. Today, the BattleHawks hosting upset-minded Orlando. Disappointment for St. Louis last week against rival Seattle. A win would have put the BattleHawks in the playoffs. However, Ja'Cour Pearson was relentless and slippery. Seattle harassed A.J. McCarron, picking him off twice. And Ben DiNucci with a cold-blooded flex. Ball game. With the Seattle win, it all rides on what happens this weekend. 2 spots remain in the final weekend. One will go from the south. Arlington, if they get a dub, they go. San Antonio still in the mix. In the north, it's down to St. Louis and Seattle. Here's BattleHawks head coach Anthony Becht.
All right, do it for yourself today. You've earned the right. You've done it for your families and friends and whoever you may have done it for. Do it for yourself. Go up there and lay it on the line, man. All right, go out there and lay it on the line, and we'll see what happens at the end of the game, and we'll see what happens at the end of the week. All right, but play great today. Have fun, be loose, and get it done, man. You guys deserve this. But you get what you deserve when you take it. Go take it from them today, all right?
So much on line this weekend. St. Louis and Seattle are 2 of the biggest favorites that we've seen all season long. Why is this intriguing? Well, if both teams win, we go down to the 4th and potentially 5th tiebreaker to send the team from the north into the XFL playoffs. It's convoluted, but that's why we are here. From St. Louis, Loa Galindo here with Sam Macho. Coaches say it all the time, 1 game at a time. But for Anthony Becht, he's basically got 2. He's got to beat Orlando while also trying to catch Seattle in scoring offense and defense or pass them in one of those categories to have a shot. It's crazy.
Well, coaches always talk about control what you can control. There's so much that's uncontrollable, that's out of your control. They need to score at least 19 points if you want to have one of the tiebreakers, or all else fails, hope that Seattle loses.
I hope you're good at math. I'm not. It's going to be tough. Here's Ian Fitzsimmons standing by with Coach Becht.
Yeah, neither am I, Lowell. Coach, Brian Hill, your leading rusher, he's out, not here. How do you overcome his absence when you need points?
We have a lot of depth in our team. Mateo Durant, Kareem Walker, to get some opportunities today. It is a league of opportunity, and those guys are ready. They've been waiting for his turn, so I'm excited to see those guys play.
You almost need an advanced math degree to figure out the tiebreaker. How much does that impact your decisions?
Well, look, we always try to go into the game trying to score a lot of points and not giving up many. Look, I'll push the envelope a little bit today. It's not about being aggressive. It's about trusting my players in those situations. I believe they're going to get it done today. I think we're going to bounce back like we always do. We're excited to see these guys play.
Come away healthy.
All right, thanks, Ian.
Over to Taylor McGregor with DeAndre Francois.
Thanks, Fitz. DeAndre, despite being out of playoff contention, what is the importance of this game for your team?
We're playing for pride right now. We're playing for dignity. We're going to play hard. Even though we're not going to the playoffs, we still got to put on a show for the city of Orlando and just for each other, and we're going to play hard for each other.
Thank you. Lowell?
Taylor, thank you so much. And if you want to know what Terrell Buckley is playing for, he told us he had a conversation with Anthony Becht, who he played with the Jets. Told him, I can't wait to send you to an early vacation alongside me.
We asked him about motivation. Coach Buck said there's 100 different things that motivate me, but sending other teams home early is one of them.
And this is already a sign of the significance of how you approach this game. St. Louis typically defers. Home team gets to choose, start with the football or kick it away. Anthony Becht has decided to start with the football to jumpstart this offense, which is the worst in the XFL in the first quarter. Once again, best crowd in the XFL on hand. And here we go. Jose Borregales, short kick to the dangerous Darius Shepard. Shepard to the 30, and a flag is down.
Hey, flag down here. Get the spot, yeah. Both. I think you and David are on the same one, so 55 during the return. Yeah, 55, we're good there. Going from the spot, 10 yards, first down. During the return, holding number 55, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down, St. Louis.
So we're going to talk a lot about the tiebreakers. The fourth tiebreaker is your combined rank in the division in scoring offense and scoring defense. Seattle leads St. Louis by 1 spot in both. Here's the bottom line. St. Louis needs to score 20 more points than Seattle does this weekend to pass them for scoring offense and allow 7 fewer points than Seattle to pass them in scoring defense. Do you have that down, Sam?
There's that and there's so much more. But this game will come down to, yes, winning, but also how you win.
A.J. McCarron back at quarterback for St. Louis, leads the XFL in touchdown passes. McCarron will check it down to Mateo Durant. Durant picks up the first down. How he does is going to be critical because Brian Hill was a fantastic security blanket for A.J. McCarron.
Brian Hill is one of the best backs in the XFL. He's out this week, so it's going to be Mateo Durant. It's going to be many other weapons, even on the outside, to help this offense go.
Brian Hill, second leading rusher in the XFL.
Hey, it's the mic.
Behind Abram Smith, out.
180. One shot.
Back-to-back carries for Durant, and quickly met by the Guardians' defense. And Savion Patton,
let's go on the ball,
the
bunch right,
XFL
51 X spot spacing.
Bunch
right,
hey,
51 X spot spacing.
51 X spot. You got the. Yeah.
It's a play call from one former NFL quarterback to another. Bruce Grodkowski to A.J. McCarron.
We're good. We're good.
St. Louis with only 12 points in the loss to Seattle, coming off their lowest scoring game of the season. Back to Durant. Initially slipped through one contact from Terrence Smith. May have gotten 1 extra yard to set up a crucial third down.
And that was a great tackle by Terrence Smith. He's upped his game. This entire Orlando defense has played better and better and better in the last half of the season. Talked to one of their defenders. He said, man, we started getting rid of guys and then guys who really wanted to win.
3rd and 7, nothing downfield yet for A.J. McCarron. He's got the receivers to exploit the questionable secondary for Orlando. Marcel Aitman at the top of the screen. Darius Shepard at the bottom in 11. McCarron trying to get out of the pocket. This is where he struggled last week, and he's hit and brought down. Tigre Scales with the stop on 3rd down.
So first of all, give credit to Tigre Scales. This dude's been on a journey since he was at Indiana back 6 years ago. Eyes on the quarterback. You see A.J. McCarron, you step up, and then you go sideline to sideline. Don't get out of your coverage. Everyone else stays in coverage, and then you do your job. And Stanley Mapanga doing his little dance. He's 32 years old. He might be old for that, but I respect it, Stanley.
Stanley at 32, the hips don't lie. Justin Rogers back deep. We do have 2 punters in Sterling Hoffrichter and Mac Brown that have successfully executed fakes this year. Rogers return. We do have a flag, and he is brought down at the 22-yard line by Will
Flag down
Harvey.
here, flag down. Hang tight before we punt. Illegal formation. All right, so we're going to tack on 5 from there. Illegal formation. Illegal formation. Kicking team. Not enough players on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. It's first down, Orlando.
Here's Guardians head coach Terrell Buckley before the start of the game.
Play hard for 60 minutes and let's finish. Finish every play the right way. Finish, 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 finish. Hard and finish. See it before it happens. Orlando Guardians, stand hard.
And a new motto for T-Buck this week, the Guardian way.
It don't matter, give him a move and go.
And what that is a team that's organized, disciplined, and detailed. They had such problems with penalties at the beginning of the season. They've cleaned that up. And now after this St. Louis penalty, they want the BattleHawks to re-kick.
Well, it's a smart play by Coach Buckley, having the offense punt it again. Why? Because these guys, you can be tired running down the field on a punt, and so hopefully you get a bigger return like you told Justin Rogers.
And that 3 and out has to be deflating for St. Louis, putting so much stock into how they played this game. Rogers fumbled it. It's still loose. Does Orlando get it back? The ball is down at the 20-yard line, and it will be Guardians football.
Well, we talked about this earlier. You have to find the ball or find a way to get points on offense or slow down points on defense. Sometimes you don't even have to force it. The ball will come to you. So in this punt, the ball came the St. Louis BattleHawks way, but don't force it. Relax, let the ball come to you. Great effort play right there by Lakia Henry.
Wow. The Ole Miss Rebel able to pounce on that, saving points for Orlando. So here is DeAndre Francois making his first start. Power formation by the Guardians. Francois on the run, and we'll just throw this away. Francois looked like he was going to be the next great one out of Florida State. Had a fantastic freshman year. However, in the season opener in his sophomore campaign, hurt his knee against Alabama. His career has never really been the same.
He led Florida State to their biggest comeback win in school history, threw for over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. The injury derailed his career. Now he's trying to revitalize that flashy career.
Good news for him, he's got Cody Lattimore, second leading receiver, wearing number 11. Back, over the middle and through the hands. He was looking for Ryan Becker, and it was there.
11. Let's go dose right. No, let's go twins right, scat right, Y option 5. Twins right, scat right, Y option 5. Comeback 81.
That's a former
comeback 81.
Gator and Shane Matthews calling plays to Francois, and it's nuts inside the dome. Francois with time, sideline, and cut by Charleston Rambo out of Miami. So we've had a Knoll, a Gator calling the plays, and a reception to a Kane.
And you heard Shane Matthews say to 81, which is Jordan Thomas' comeback. Well, also on the other side, deep comebacks on the outside. Get past the sticks, get past the first down line marker, and then give your quarterback a target to hit. And so we also hear the audio from head coach or even coordinator to their receivers.
Let's see it. That's been one of the themes this week for Terrell Buckley. He just wants to see what Francois has. Check down, Devin Darrington. Darrington slips one to the 50 for the former Harvard Crimson and Virginia Cavalier.
Keep an eye on Devin Darrington. He's special. He's 6th in the XFL in rushing, yet he missed the first 3 games. He graduated from Harvard. 2020, his season got canceled, transferred to UVA. That was a pass-happy offense. He says, finally, I get an opportunity to shine. He did it last week, over 100 rushing yards. He's starting off strong this week. Keep an eye on 26, Devin Darrington.
Here we go. Hey, Sarah.
Back to the run game, nowhere to hide. Travis Feeney will find you. The 9th TFL for the Washington Husky.
Okay, so keep an eye on Darrington. Keep an eye on Feeney as well. So Travis Feeney, he has 5 sacks on the season, but he's more than just a sack artist. He's a great defensive player. Got drafted in the 6th round by the Steelers from University of Washington. This guy's 6'4". He's 240, 35-inch vertical. He's a freak athlete, but he's also just as smart of a player.
Francois over the middle and cut. Brought in by Dan Williams. Let's check in with Fitz on the St. Louis injury situation. Darrington close to the sticks on 3rd down. You're not able to get Fitz's audio, but the situation here, Nate Maters is out with a high ankle issue. Mike Rose, star linebacker, is also out. Ben DeLuca at safety has been out for quite some time. And Silas Kelly, another standout linebacker, is out with a concussion. So the back 7 for St. Louis is razor thin.
Standout, Lowell, is an understatement. Mike Rose, for example, NFL coaches have been calling about him during this XFL season. So the missing pieces on this team may potentially be detrimental.
Francois. Charleston Rambo for the second time. And when it comes to the different tiebreaker scenarios, the best path for Seattle and St. Louis is defensively. If St. Louis is going to catch Seattle in one of those categories, the easiest way to do that is with scoring defense.
Well, the best path for St. Louis specifically is just to hope that Seattle loses.
Correct.
Why? Seattle's playing a division game, and so if Seattle loses that division game against Vegas, St. Louis will have a better divisional record, which is one tiebreaker ahead.
So St. Louis would like a shutout. Down the sideline, just out of the fingertips of KD Cannon.
Flag down.
And we do have a hanky down.
What number you got on that?
38.
38 defensive hold, 5 yards and a first down. Yeah, 38. Holding number 38. Defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Brandon Sebastian called for the hold. And the advantage that Seattle has in all of this, of course, the pressure of winning, they will know their magic numbers on what they need to score and what they can allow for their finale against Vegas on Sunday, the final game of the year.
You talked about it, Lowell. Last week, these two teams played each other.
Play action. Francois, huge drop, and just has to get rid of that.
Last
Hill, second leading rusher in the XFL. McCarron. Pump fake, went back over the middle to Akeem Butler, one of the breakout stars in the XFL. Taylor.
Guys, something to pay attention to on Orlando's defensive line. Their best D lineman, Savion Patton, is out for the rest of the game with a glute injury.
Taylor, thanks for that update. So it's late season. Keep in mind, no bye weeks in the 10-game schedule for all XFL teams. 2nd and 5. McCarron wants it all. He's got it. Stephen Mitchell, fight on out of USC.
Now we understand why A.J. McCarron leads the XFL in passing touchdowns with 18. It's his timing, his poise, and his leadership. Notice him looking off the safety. He's looking in the middle of the field, so the safety thinks he's throwing in the middle. The last second, he looks outside, gets his hips outside, and drops a dime in the bucket for Mitchell.
Low, 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 low. F-spot. Set.
McCarron now playing traffic cop. He has a freedom to call many of these plays at the line. McCarron on the dart. That's who you want to leave it high to. Akeem Butler couldn't bring it in.
And the reason you say that, so Akeem Butler is 6'6" tall. That was it perfectly, but you see him smiling. He knows he should have caught that one. But what I'm interested in seeing is, remember a few weeks ago, they got Akeem Butler involved early in the game, and all of a sudden he went crazy. And so we saw that early catch, just a short catch, but now you're getting him involved early. He starts to build even more confidence as the game goes on.
No catches last week on only 2 targets. Marcel Aitman, number 3. That was the go-to guy early.
180! Wait a second.
Flag down. Back to Butler. Butler hit immediately.
Got a flag down.
And the Orlando
illegal
defense.
formation, 78. We only have 6 men on the line of scrimmage. The ball was touched behind.
They're going to want it, right? Yes. Illegal formation. Illegal formation. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down. Correction. Orlando would like to decline that penalty. It's 3rd down.
You good with that, Sam?
I am. You hear some of the boos in the stands, but the bigger picture is it's 3rd down at the 17-yard line. Don't give the offense an extra down. Force them to get this 1st down in the red zone. So I love that decision.
All right, tight 1 double robber. Safety showdown. Tight 1 double robber. Safety showdown.
2 jet Camaro. Camaro, you got the B-line.
They don't have to get it all here. Anthony Beck planning on being very aggressive in 4th down situations in plus territory. That's going to lead us to a timeout. Playoff spot on the line for St. Louis, but it's the Guardians with the early 6-0 lead.
You go in the first quarter, Orlando leads St. Louis 6-0, and in talking to St. Louis head coach Anthony Beck before the game, he told me they're letting it rip, man. From between the 50 and the 30, 4th and 3 or less, they're going for it. Inside the 30, 4th and 6 or fewer, Lowell, they're going for it. You won't see a kicker out here very often for the BattleHawks.
Well, Fitz, that's really giving your team the best opportunity to reach the postseason. You have to play this game, but also play the game with the dynamics of the fourth tiebreaker that will potentially come into play. 3rd and 10 for McCarron.
180! White side!
McCarron to the end zone, overthrowing Stephen Mitchell. And it looks like St. Louis will take the points here.
Smart.
Donnie Hagman strolling out. That's a huge stop for Orlando.
It is. And you heard the coverage beforehand. He talked about one robber, cover one. And so everyone's in man-to-man. And so C.J. Holmes, number one, had the great man-to-man coverage, staying tight to his receiver and not getting handsy, not allowing a penalty.
35-yard attempt for Donnie Hagman. Just keep your eyes out. Anytime the specialists are on the field, something funky could be happening in this game. St. Louis with 3 points after their first 2 drives. Not what they wanted. They got to win this game. Hope for a little help along the way as well. Week 10 in the XFL continues with the Defenders and the Brahmas at 3 Eastern over on ABC. And tomorrow, the Renegades host the Roughnecks at 3 Eastern on ESPN, with the Vipers and Sea Dragons at 7 on ESPN2. Every game is also available on ESPN+. Look, this is a breakdown in the South. If Arlington wins, they are in. If Arlington loses and San Antonio wins, the Brahmas have the edge in those tie-break scenarios. They will go to the playoffs.
So every single game this weekend matters. So this game matters. We talked about it already, but after this game, San Antonio gets a win. They'll be watching, hoping Arlington loses. Then that Arlington game, we heard it. If Arlington wins, they're in. Then the last game of the XFL regular season, Vegas and Seattle. No matter what happens today, if Seattle loses, correct, St. Louis is in.
We talk so much about the 4th and 5th tiebreaker, though, because both St. Louis and Seattle are massive favorites, 2 of the biggest favorites that we've seen all season long. Orlando doesn't care. Vegas almost beat this St. Louis team a couple weeks ago, so we know it could be some upsets around the XFL to wrap it up. St. Louis relentless on pursuit and special teams. Carson Wells out of Colorado with the stop. Now, Orlando, this is what they do. One of the best teams in the XFL in scoring on their opening possession. However, it typically slows down after that first drop.
Well, this is why you have DeAndre Francois in the game. We saw it last week. He came in late in the game, but he was on that play when Devin Darrington had that huge 60-plus yard run. It was a zone read, and so the ability of Francois to be able to run the ball, that threat, can slow down defenders and open up an offense.
And so far, no targets to the second leading receiver in the XFL, Cody Lattimore. Darrington denied. Stuffed by Kevin Atkins, the Fresno State Bulldog.
You talk to any one of the coaches for St. Louis from beginning to end, Kevin Atkins is the name they continually say. He lines up on the inside. He's a big physical human being, but they say, no, it's more than that. It's his technique in the run. It's his ability to rush the passer. Talk about NFL talent, NFL pedigree. He's the name they consistently say.
Injured his pec while he was benching at his pro day workout. Couldn't do the on-field workouts. That hampered him from getting his shot in the NFL. This is his shot now. Francois has wheels. The pursuit, however, by Taniela Tupou.
Let's go empty. 11 Bulldog, 11 Bulldog, 11 Bulldog.
Hey, Tupou was booking it there.
Give me quads right,
he's former rugby player as well, so he's got this rugby experience as well.
Smash F drive Z under. Smash F drive Z under. Gone right. 81, bring your split in. You got the corner. Bring your split in.
F drive Z under.
And Francois will have to call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock. What was happening there with the communication?
So Shane Matthews, so in the XFL, there's extra communication, about 15 headsets. So coaches can talk to receivers or running backs, whoever you give these headsets to. Shane Matthews was telling tight end Jordan Thomas, hey, it's a smash route. You have the corner. Come in tighter, a little bit away from the sideline, because you're running a route to the outside. And so that's what he said, bring your split in, bring your split in. You need space to give your quarterback space. That was that communication. It happened late, and that's why the timeout was called.
Here's Francois.
Hey, go left, go left, go left, go left. Go left, go left, go left. Sally, 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 Sally.
On the money, but to the wrong guy. Intercepted by Brandon Sebastian. From Chestnut Hill with love, the BC Eagle with his second INT of the year.
So story is an understatement. Brandon Sebastian lost his brother to colon cancer on October 19th, 2017. His brother, Jordan, was his hero. His brother said, man, Saturdays are my favorite day. And so everything he does for his brother. Notice his eyes on that route. His eyes are on the quarterback. And then he goes and makes the play. Brandon Sebastian did the same thing in college, but in the XFL, he says, man, everything I do for Jordan. He talks about his motto, DTD, dominate the day. Right there, Brandon dominated the play.
And St. Louis with great field position at the 42. Clean pocket from McCarron. This is where he struggled last week. When he felt pressure, he lost his footing. Was that a sign of a guy that had missed a week?
I think it was more of a sign of a guy who had been injured a few weeks back. So 3 weeks ago, he had an injury. Last week, he came back, and sometimes you're not as confident to throw it. And so then you start to look around, and then do I slide, do I run? Now he looks a lot healthier.
50, X-Tank, 50.
Coming down to the final moments of the first quarter.
Set. White side.
Into traffic, and Aitman got crunched. Terrence Plummer, defensive leader, with the thump. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. St. Louis doing a lot of chasing. They're chasing the Guardians on this scoreboard. They're chasing Seattle and the all-important rankings that determine the fourth tiebreak. St. Louis, Missouri, great city, great people, place to be in this final weekend of the XFL regular season. And all of our besties, they're inside the Dome in America Center. You just look around, Sam, this could be a college football bowl game. This is the same type of environment that we've seen at NFL games, that we've seen early season in college football. This is unbelievable, and it has been all season long.
Well, this stadium is outstanding. Over 30,000 fans every single game thus far. And also, I played in the NFL for 9 years. There are many NFL environments that don't feel like this. I've played in this stadium, and it's just as loud when I played as it is here.
Still a chip on the shoulder. After the NFL was taken away, they've embraced the XFL with open arms, and you're looking at some of the biggest marks in spring football history. 3rd and 6 for McCarron to Akeem Butler. Butler has the sticks. Butler has more. Hop on and go for a ride with Akeem Butler for 29 yards.
You know what I love, Lowell? 4 weeks ago, when St. Louis played Las Vegas for the first time in Vegas, they fed Akeem Butler, and it got their entire offense going. When all else fails, give it to your 6'6" receiver out of Iowa State. Let him do the rest.
Sam, we've seen him, even with his days in the Cyclones, he does things not a lot of dudes can do. Last week, shut out. He is a factor here. Swinging it out. Oh, and a big collision for Stephen Mitchell. Ty Smith and Stephen Mitchell going head-to-head, mano-a-mano.
Well, Ty Smith, he has NFL experience, so he's looking at this. He says, okay, I have to bring, when you're in the red zone, you cannot hesitate. There's no tiptoeing. You have to come downhill and come downhill fast. That's what Ty Smith did on that play.
Now you're set up, 2nd and goal. And we have an injured Orlando Guardian coming off the field. That is Nick Coe, former Auburn Tiger. How important is finishing right here? Not with 3, but with 6.
Well, it's important because of all that goes into this game, the point totals that we've talked about. Outscoring your opponent by at least 20, and then hoping that Seattle doesn't score. So that's why these points matter. You can't just walk away with 3. You need 6, and then maybe you get another 3 for the 3-point conversion.
Hey, both teams fighting for that bonus check for the winner as well. McCarron, Butler dropped it. Now these are the throws that are head scratchers when it comes to Hakeem Butler. He'll make the one-handed acrobatic catch, but we've done multiple games where he's dropping gimmies.
Well, this isn't a drop. Give all credit to Ty Smith right there. Yes, it's tight coverage, and yes, you could potentially challenge and say pass interference, but I would argue that it's not. That's just great coverage, playing on the inside, knowing that there may be a slant possible to a big-bodied receiver.
So more of a hat tip to Ty Smith than a knock on Hakeem Butler.
Hands down.
3rd and goal. This is certainly 4-down territory for A.J. McCarron in St. Louis. Little inside pitch to Shepard, and it's going to come down to a pivotal 4th down.
Jumbo. Jumbo, deuce right, king. 12 power plus. Why now? Jumbo, deuce right, king. 12 power plus. Why now?
Deuce right, king. 12 power plus. Why now? 12 power plus. Jumbo.
St. Louis with an XFL low, 3 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Go here.
And a timeout. Orlando calls it.
I got him.
Can't say it enough just what this sequence means. Let's listen to the coach back here.
Check in again. Make sure you declare again, okay? Hey, let's go.
So St. Louis with the dynamic, the potential for tiebreaker if they win and Seattle wins. They have to match them in both scoring offense and defense or pass Seattle in at least one of those categories. That means outscoring Seattle by 20 points. Or allowing 7 fewer points than Seattle does this weekend. A lot of math involved, but it's the here and now. 4th and goal. Carry to Kareem Walker. Walker is in.
So notice, you heard Anthony Becht. He said, get that ball in there. This is not a pretty play. This is a physical football play. I don't care who our back is, whether it's Brian Hill, Kareem Walker.
Good job, Dallas.
Our offensive line has to dominate, and that's what we saw.
Good job, baby.
And how about Steven Gonzalez paving the way, a guy that Anthony Becht believes will end up in an NFL camp. 2-point conversion time from the 5-yard line.
Set.
St. Louis is 8 of 16 on the 2-pointers. McCarron, all morning, all afternoon, all night. What will he do with it? Corner, receiver goes down, there's no flag. Stephen Mitchell, it looked like there was some contact. No flag was called. Becht is wondering if that was a missed call. As it stands, it's just 6 for St. Louis, but they take the lead.
And they followed Steven Gonzalez, they followed the offensive line, and they trusted their gut. We're going to be dominant in this game.
The XFL is brought to you by the new National Geographic series, Secrets of the Elephants, now streaming on Disney+. How about the secret of a BattleHawk? What is one? Why are they so dominant, etc.?
I'm still trying to find out what the secret of the elephant is. Let me check that one out, too.
You're intrigued.
I'm intrigued. I'm sold.
It's a successful promo. So A.J. McCarron just engineered a touchdown drive to give his BattleHawks the lead, 9-6 over Orlando. Final weekend of the XFL regular season. Kick is away to Dedrick Thomas. Thomas fields it at the 6. Thomas out of Mississippi State trips and is hit and brought down at the 27-yard line. Fascinating the way this could all potentially play out. And that man, Terrell Buckley, is here just to spoil this party. He told Anthony Becht when he saw him yesterday, his former teammate, hey, I can't wait to send you to an early vacation just like me. He's embracing that spoiler role.
And we do these calls with coaches. We've done them all season long. The smile that came across Terrell Buckley's face when we told him about the opportunity to spoil this dance, I hadn't seen him smile that hard in a very, very long time.
Orlando playing their best football of the season, coming off back-to-back 2-point losses as Jermaine Martin is hit by Willie Harvey out of Iowa State, the leading tackler for St. Louis.
Seattle, Z-Dig, X-Shallow. Right there, 81.
So you keep on hearing Shane Matthews talk to 81, Jordan Thomas. He's the tight end that had that phenomenal touchdown last week where he essentially just big-bodied the defender. He's going to be or should be a focal point all series long.
And a former BattleHawk to boot. Francois looking deep for Jamil. Almost picked off. Through the fingertips of Lavert Hill. We saw him out of Michigan with a 2-interception game at Vegas.
And you see this miscommunication. It's an obvious miscommunication between Jamil and Francois. But better is the awareness by Hill. You just have to come down with that. Great awareness. It's hard as a DB to try and track the ball that way. But he's going to come down with the next one. We saw him do it a couple weeks ago. Had a couple picks.
How is Francois' mind right now? That was almost 2 straight passes that were picked off. With one being picked off by Sebastian. Everybody's moving early. Yellow flags everywhere.
Okay. False start, number 67. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's on Brett Boyko, the left tackle. It's amazing how Orlando can look like world beaters on the opening drive. I mean, opening drive of the season, they marched the length of the field against Houston, scored, and then hit the brakes.
And part of that false start, maybe because of this crowd noise, we hear the crowd getting louder and louder and louder, especially on a critical 3rd and long.
Francois is just going to check down. Bad decision, bad intentions, Lavert Hill.
I'm not saying that you go and you make up for a bad play, but as a player, sometimes psychologically you say, you know what? I'm going to go back to my technique. When the next one comes, I'm going to make it. Look at Hill's eyes. He just shuffles, and immediately takes out the legs of Jermaine Martin out of NC State. North Carolina A&T.
So a 3-and-out after the interception for the St. Louis BattleHawks defense. Will we see the second coming of the Blandino? Mac Brown had the fake to KD Cannon. It led to a touchdown last week in San Antonio. Mac Brown, he's going to do it again for Jordan Thomas. Jump ball, Thomas got it! Thomas is still up! The former BattleHawk rumbling to the sideline, to the end zone. What just happened? 84 yards. We tried to warn you. We tried to tell you. Orlando don't care.
Talk about fearless talk about tired. First of all, Jordan Thomas running 84 yards for that touchdown. Tired, fearless. We're going to go back and look at that play. Jordan Thomas was initially on the sideline. I don't think he knew that the fake was up. Then he ran on the field. He crossed the numbers, which you have to essentially cross the numbers. But he's not usually lined up that wide. That's what you have to be alert for. The fearlessness of a team that really doesn't care.
What's going on? How do we get all these fake punts? I mean, I'm not complaining, but there have been 3 crucial ones, and we've seen them all in succession.
I'm going to give them time to figure this out, but too many players there.
How about...
Hey, what's the yardage on this? It's 5, right?
5 yards.
Yeah. Illegal substitution, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2-point try.
I mean, Mac Brown is stating his case to get some snaps at quarterback, right? Between Francois and Dormady, just let Mac Brown throw some jump balls.
Well, last week, Mac Brown, the punter, had the 64-yard pass to K.D. Cannon. Now this week, Mac Brown, the punter, had the 84-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Thomas.
So Mac Brown leads the XFL with 76.5 yards per completion.
The punter.
Not bad. 2-point conversion for Francois. Backside pressure. Finney brought him down. Helmet is loose. Ball is loose. Good response there by the St. Louis defense. All right, break this down. I mean, it's poetry. This is a former BattleHawk bringing it in Thomas.
Well, we heard Coach talk about Mac Brown. He said, now, I got some punters that could throw, but not like this, and people who could catch, but not like this. Jordan Thomas, Mississippi State. He's 6'5", 277, but he ran a 4.74. He also, they used to call him Bone Crusher because he's a big body, and so Jordan Thomas, big body with speed.
Here's Taylor.
I'm with Mac Brown and Jordan Thomas. Guys, how many times had you practiced that?
How many times? Just a couple. It's just natural, man. He's a ball player, man. He makes plays.
Okay, but I saw you on the sideline, and it didn't look like you were going to get over. How did you make that play happen?
All God, man. I mean, he's using me, so I can't complain. I'm getting an opportunity, a great opportunity to show what I can do, and I'm grateful. So I can't ask for anything more.
And Mac, what were you looking to do there on that throw?
Hey, he's a big body. I just had to put it up, let him go get it. He's a ball player, man. He's a baller. I'm lucky to have him on my side. I appreciate it.
Guys.
Sam, name another level of football where we would see a play like that, especially given where it started from.
Lowell, there is none.
It is the XFL. Give me more. There he is, Shepard out to the 30. I mean, that's a gutsy move from Terrell Buckley. He's throwing it from a couple steps in front of the end zone.
And it's yes, Terrell Buckley, the move. Yes, Mac Brown, the throw. But Jordan Thomas, after the catch, we love to say high and tight. It doesn't matter. You scored a touchdown.
Here's T-Buck. Wow. Orlando taking the lead. St. Louis, your response. Mateo Durant with a good start. Takes it for about 6 yards.
Just going back to that play, we were talking to Buckley earlier in the week, and he talked about, if we're going to have a fake on, I don't want to hear anybody looking to the sideline. Is it still on? Just throw it. And so that kind of confidence and fearlessness can come when there's trust between, I would say quarterback, but now I would say punter and head coach.
And those points from Orlando, even if St. Louis comes back, wins this game, so damaging as Durant weaves his way to the 45. Because of the fourth tiebreaker, if both St. Louis and Seattle can win, it will go down to the fourth or fifth tiebreaker to see who gets in. Fourth tiebreaker is your rank, your combined rank in the division in scoring offense and scoring defense. These are the updated numbers. The big one and the most likely way that St. Louis was going to catch Seattle is by points allowed. But now, that's an 18-point difference. As here's a shot to Shepard, who brings it in. That's how they do it at North Dakota State. 40 yards. McCarron to Shepard.
Darius Shepard's a 3-time North Dakota State college football champion. But more than that, he's a reliable receiver. He played with Trey Lance, who plays for the San Francisco 49ers. You listen to Trey Lance talk about Darius Shepard, said he's the most confident and consistent player I've been around.
Kareem, the dream to the 10.
And sometimes it doesn't matter who your running back is. Look at how big that hole is on the right side. Great job by Vidal Alexander making that hole wider. I mean, I could run through that.
So as it stands, St. Louis to make up ground and pass Seattle, and scoring offense or defense would need 20 more points than Seattle scores against Vegas. So that means they have to at least get to 20. Right now they've got 9 on the board. Durant, right side, down to the 7-yard line. Defensively is where they had the best shot catching Seattle. But now Seattle knows going into their finale against Vegas, they just have to hold the Vipers to 18 points or less to maintain that edge in scoring defense.
And the truth is, Lowell, you can't get too caught up in the numbers, because we saw there was an early opportunity with that muff punt. You didn't take advantage of it. But also you saw with this game, the next one matters too.
McCarron, back foot, Butler, give it to him.
We talked about, with this offense, getting Hakeem Butler involved early. This was a simple corner route to the outside. It's not just his size, it's his route running ability. Hakeem Butler had won on a few inside routes. Well, now he stems inside and goes outside. All that space, A.J. McCarron just lays it out there for him to catch.
And it will be a 2-point conversion as Butler makes Kaká Nation proud. 3-point lead for the BattleHawks. We got TP in the end zone. Streamers coming down left and right. See XFL, baby. McCarron hit as he throws to Aitman. Got it! Got it! Give it to him!
You see it right here. You see the corner route to the outside. Get it to your big body receiver. Get him involved early. Get him confident early. 5-point lead.
6:36 to go in the second quarter here with Hakeem Butler. What'd your quarterback, A.J. McCarron, just tell you after that touchdown catch?
No, he just did a good job, and he was just changing some signals. They got a couple of our guys on their team, so we're just trying to get it figured out.
If I played you one-on-one in basketball, who wins?
What kind of question is that?
That's what I figured. He's tall. Lowell?
Let me just sum it up like Bryce Harper would. That's a clown question, bro. Hakeem Butler. What's lost in this conversation about the tiebreaker scenarios, who gets in, who gets out, what the individuals are playing for is a chance to get invited to an NFL camp, a chance to at least land a spot on a practice squad and go from there.
And Hakeem Butler's been in the NFL before. He played with the Cardinals in 2019, so he has NFL experience. Unfortunately, he hurt his hand and got injured. It wasn't so forgiving. Now people watch these games and say, get this guy back on my team.
Dedrick Thomas getting loose. He's got to beat the kicker, but the kicker with the edge. Wow, we saw Donnie Hagman just keep 6 points off the board. Here's Taylor.
Thank you. Well, we're about to witness a quarterback change. Coach, why the change?
It's part of our game plan. He was always going to play. We just want to give Francois a start and get some reps in and see what he can do.
Thank you. Lowell?
So it's got to be Mac Brown at quarterback now, right?
he may be the third option.
Behind Quentin Dormady, who's really helped take this Orlando offense to a different level. It's been the combination of Shane Matthews taking over as the primary play caller and Dormady at quarterback. Dormady, deep, hits his man. 6 more for Orlando. K.D. Cannon, another deep shot for the Baylor Bear.
So KD Cannon holds records at Baylor for receptions, receiving yards. He's a record holder. Played with the Cowboys. They talked about him saying, man, he's one of the fastest players on our team. And this is what the players for the Dallas Cowboys said when he played. And so his speed is what stands out. So whether he catches it from Quentin Dormady like he did this week or from punter Mac Brown like he did last week, he's a big play machine.
This entire game is really challenging my math skills. Some more quick math there. That's now 3 catches on the season for KD Cannon for 155 yards. 2-point attempt. Dormady complete. That's to Andrew Jamil. 2 more points, and Guardians adding. 20-17. This is inspiring to watch with Terrell Buckley, who's with Taylor.
Coach, is that exactly how you drew it up?
Yes. Yes, that is exactly. We had the post, we reading it, and then at 2-point, we finally trying to get some different plays in.
What's allowed your offense to collect those explosive plays like we've seen through the first half?
We're reading it, and we're calling it, and we're trying to make sure it happens. Instead of putting it on the board, we're actually trying to make it happen.
Appreciate it, Coach. Lowell?
So think about this. 8 coaches in the XFL, 4 of them have head coaching experience, and those are the coaches most likely to end up in the postseason. The 4 other coaches don't have that experience. Terrell Buckley had a very difficult start to the year, to the point where you almost felt bad for what was happening with this Guardians team. But every week, it's been better and better, and he is so appreciative for this opportunity for him.
I talked to Terrell Buckley before the game, right in the tunnel outside of their locker room, and he was saying, man, I wouldn't get this type of opportunity elsewhere, an opportunity to learn, to go through the ups and downs. Talked about, look at Nick Saban early in his career, all the great coaches, Bill Belichick. Some of these guys struggle early, so he was grateful for the opportunity to learn, and now second half of the season, they're progressing.
And knows that next year, he comes into the season as the coach with experience that's going to be helping some of those other potential first-time coaches, whether it be positional coaches or head coaches otherwhere, know how to establish yourself as the man in charge. The kick from Jose Borregales is away. Shepard at the 10. Shepard to the 35-yard line. The 9-part docuseries Player 54 continues with an all-access look at XFL players and coaches. Episode 7 premieres Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN2. All episodes are available on ESPN+. And Sam, for Terrell Buckley to keep his team engaged for this long, playing competitive football, that's impressive.
It's a tale of 2 seasons. Early in the season, they were one of the, if not the worst team in the XFL. Then something changed. We talked about a play caller change, a quarterback change. Now they're one of the least penalized teams in the XFL and playing like a team that could beat anybody.
McCarron back to work to Akeem Butler. Had the last touchdown. Butler to the 40-yard line. Here's Taylor.
Guys, I go back to what Dan Mullen told me about Coach Buckley. The 2 coached together at Mississippi State with one of the most dominant defenses in college football history. He told me that Coach Buckley relates to players almost as good as anyone he's ever coached around. We know there are growing pains with simply being a head coach, but I just go back to that chemistry with players. Coach Buckley talked about it on our call yesterday. Sometimes that will win out, and I think that's what we're seeing a little bit here.
Had one-on-one meetings a couple days ago with every player on his roster, and that made him walk away saying, regardless of the record, this year is a success because I helped people develop away from the field and on the field.
And a lot of teams will have exit interviews, so the season ends and all of a sudden you meet with your coach. But he did that a week prior because he knows that this may be the end for this team. Who knows who's going to be there next year? So he met with every single player, not just to find out their why, but to say, hey, how can I help you be better for the future? So that's what you learn when you start getting experience as a coach.
Back-to-back 2-point losses. 4 losses this season by 3 points or less. And oh, by the way, only one team has defeated DC this season, and it's
this Orlando Guardians team. And you want to know who stood out in that game? It was Katie Cannon, who saw the big plays from, and it was Jordan Thomas.
I know what y'all going to get, right?
Not bad when you got a
Inside,
quarterback in
and it's
Quentin
probably
Dormady that's coming up
right?
with 6
Find the
total
ball.
touchdowns.
It's coming. Even if you got, since we're doing that, you might want him to go at 4. To what? I'm going to go. Let's go. Bail it, bail it, bail it, bail it. Let's go.
Hey, Brown Steelers cover 1.
Opportunity. So tough to find. If you want to be a head coach, how do you prepare for it? And to see the XFL giving 4 coaches an opportunity to be a head coach for the first time. And this is what we want in sports too, ultimately. More opportunities for minorities to have power positions in sports within their team. And we're seeing that with Terrell Buckley.
We're seeing it with coaches. We're seeing the opportunities for players, even referees. These are referees that the NFL has been looking at. Some of these referees have refed in college, and now it's saying, let's do it here, and now we'll get to that next level.
And we have a woman on every officiating staff within the XFL.
Penalty, it's 4th down.
So it's one thing
third down.
to say we are a league of opportunity, but this group has put their money where their mouth is. They live that.
Well, it's because, look at the leadership. You talk about Dwayne Johnson. He's a former player. I talked to some players in the XFL this week. They said, man, he gets it. What other league has ownership that used to play? Look at Danny Garcia, chairwoman of the XFL. She gets opportunity as well. And so everywhere you see, it's from the top down. Leadership, providing opportunity all across the board.
3rd and 6 here for A.J. McCarron. McCarron to a wide open Garrett Jennings. Jennings move the chains. Give him a first down.
11-11. 11-11. Good shit, guys. Good shit. Bunch right yak, 13 wham. Bunch right yak, 13 wham.
13 wham, 0-1.
Lo, we talk a lot about what St. Louis has to do to win this game and score points, but we forget that Orlando is playing as well. And so all your plans could be great until the other team shows up on the other side.
And there's nothing like facing a team that has nothing to lose. And case in point, that fake punt from Mac Brown, Jordan Thomas backed up.
Cheetah. Let's go empty left.
That's
Cheetah,
not in
empty
the normal
left.
realm of what you're expecting to see.
Empty left, H. Malcolm.
Game.
Cheetah, empty left, H. Malcolm. Right.
H. Malcolm, 0-1. H. Malcolm left.
And the fact that he even ran out on the field late, so that could have been an alert. Mac Brown wasn't phased. He said, I'm running it. Coach said, throw it. I'm going to throw it.
St. Louis started with the football first, so Orlando will get it to start the second half. Working inside, and another completion to Jennings out of West Virginia.
Here you go, Cheetah.
Gary Jennings.
Let's go bunch left empty, bunch left empty. 50 Chevy, Ohio, bunch left empty.
XFL players wear catapult devices that tracks their speed through GPS. Jennings, the fastest of anyone that's worn a sensor this year at 22.2 miles per hour. That's flying.
What would your speed be, Lo?
I'm a solid 11. Here's McCarron. McCarron for the end zone. Brought down, no. Broken up at the last second by Najim Hossein.
That was the play. And that was, you know, A.J. McCarron's been through it all, so he understands, right? Won national championships. But plays like that, you'll get more opportunities, but plays like that. Shout out to Najim Hossein, but also you want to come down with that at a critical moment. 4th down, they're going for it.
Empty left. 50 Purdue. I'll let you know. Hurry up.
4th and 3. Part of the aggressive nature that Coach Beck was telling Fitz about off the top of the broadcast. So from the 50 to 30, 4th and 3 closer. This fits the math that Beck would go for it inside the 30. 4th and 6 closer. Because again, if you're just tuning in, St. Louis is not just trying to win this game. They are chasing Seattle in points allowed and points scored, because it could come down to a 4th tiebreaker scenario.
And the benefit of a game like this is that St. Louis, they're trying to, those 2 points allowed and points scored are separate. So if you score more points, you can actually pass Seattle in that ranking, even if you give up more than you would hope to. And so there is a formula for you to score a lot of points, even though you've given up more than the 6 that you would have hoped.
Now the problem is Seattle is averaging 24 points per game. So if they need 20 to pass Seattle, that would mean scoring 44 points in this game, which would tie Houston for the highest scoring game in the league this season. That's asking a lot for St. Louis. Here's 4th and 3. McCarron staying alive. McCarron had first down yardage. Did Butler bring it in? He did. First down to Akeem Butler.
Who do you go to when it's on the line?
Well, there's so many options. Actually, with the St. Louis team, Butler is the most obvious.
Good job.
But Aitman's been clutch as we get down to the 2-minute warning.
Calm down, that's cool.
Darius Shepard and Prohl as well. 2 minutes. Let's take a look at today's game flow. Brought to you by Progressive. It's special teams goodness, starting with the Blandino last week.
Started off with KD Cannon on this play. And it continued, the fearlessness to keep on running them.
And then Mac Brown to Jordan Thomas. Thomas go up and get it and ran through the entire St. Louis special teams unit.
They called him Bone Crusher for a reason. A big-bodied receiver. Really, he's a tight end, but he plays like a receiver. And that's a quarterback who's lined up as a punter.
Slash right there.
Right.
That's Cordell Stewart back in the day. Punter slash quarterback in this case. 2 minutes. We go to the college rules when it comes to clock stoppages. Clock will pause as chains are reset after first downs. It will stop with incompletions and plays out of bounds. McCarron, low snap. McCarron will keep going. Brought down at the 30 by Lakia Henry.
10, trips left. Trips left. 18-1 to Sprite. Trips left, 18-1 to Sprite.
So this eventually does come down to a tiebreaker with St. Louis and Seattle. The first half has been a win for the Sea Dragons. Butler, wide open. Butler, did he lose the football and get it back? Down to the 5.
He did.
It looks like he almost lost it twice.
Well, you know, so he grew up with the Harrison twins, right? Those Kentucky basketball stars. So it looked like he caught it, he dribbled it, and then he picked it back up. That was a great hit by the defender. Catch, obvious catch. Ball gets punched out by Matt Elam, the former first-round pick from the Baltimore Ravens. But he recovers the football. That's that basketball awareness as well. And also being cool under pressure.
Wow, sometimes you hear that phrase. And that's Matt Elam, was injured but is coming off the field. Sometimes we don't get the bounces. Well, sometimes you do get the bounces.
They would always say in basketball, hey man, the ball chose me, the ball found me. The ball found Akeem Butler in that situation.
Ball don't lie. So a 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. And St. Louis needs to just channel the mentality of making this a track race. They got to score as many points as they can. They want a shot in this tiebreaker scenario. Final spot in the North coming down to Seattle and St. Louis. Regardless of the outcome here, a Seattle loss Sunday against Vegas sends the BattleHawks to the playoffs. That's a nice play call. Jake Sutherland, end zone.
So one of the hardest things to do as a defender is to cover someone in space who's crossing from the other side of the line of scrimmage. Your eyes have to be great. If your eyes aren't great, then someone's going to get lost. And what happened was Jake Sutherland, the tight end, essentially had the defense get lost in coverage. That's why he was so wide open.
And that play moves St. Louis past Seattle in terms of points scored this season. They need to keep padding that number because Seattle will know the magic number that they have to match or exceed on Sunday. Here's a 2-point attempt.
Set. Hey, brag.
And this is all McCarron at the line. McCarron to Butler. Butler looking for a block. Did he get it? He's just a large human being. He don't need the block.
I don't care if it's football, basketball, hockey. Hakeem Butler can do it all. And that was a play more about will. You talk about it, man, you make the first man miss, then you make the second guy miss, and then you do everything you can to get the ball into the end zone. Right, miss right there. Stiff arm, miss right there. Then you reach, use your 6'6" frame, your long arms, get that ball in there.
Hakeem Butler is that guy. Hard to believe only 2 targets last week. Butler coming back strong, one of the top threats in the XFL. 2 teams are already in. DC will host in the north. Houston will host in the south. Playoffs start next week. In the north, final spot is down to St. Louis and Seattle. St. Louis win against the Sea Dragons last week in this building would have sent St. Louis to the playoffs. That did not happen. In the south, if Arlington wins, the Renegades go. If Arlington loses and San Antonio wins, Brahmas win that tiebreaker, and the Brahmas are in the playoffs. Did you get all that, Sam?
That's a lot to get, but I think I got it.
It's just fascinating because every point will matter up into the final point scored Sunday night with Vegas and Seattle. And with 25 points for St. Louis, the most they've scored in the first half this season. Week 10 in the XFL continues with the Defenders and the Brahmas at 3 Eastern over on ABC. And tomorrow the Renegades host the Roughnecks at 3 Eastern on ESPN, with the Vipers and Sea Dragons at 7 on ESPN2. Every game is also available on ESPN+. And this is the game within the game. If it comes down to a 4th tiebreaker, it will be the combined divisional rank of scoring offense and scoring defense between St. Louis and Seattle. St. Louis trails Seattle in both of those categories. It's a sizable deficit to start the game in scoring offense. It was more manageable with scoring defense. But the 20 allowed seriously hurt St. Louis chances. They need a shutout from here on out. Cody Lattimore, his first reception of the day. Let's check in with Ian.
St. Louis came into this game, Lowell, as a 9-point favorite, total 48. So if you have the over in this game at 25-20, total of 45 points, you're feeling kind of frisky.
I love it. Teams favored by 7+ this season. 1-5 against the spread. Charleston Rambo, another large gain for Orlando, 26 yards.
Did you see that pass by Quentin Dormady in between 2 defenders?
Twins
talk about why
right,
Orlando's been so
right,
good. That's why.
Inside pin, X and Z stop. It has to be thrown in the end zone or out of bounds. End zone or out of bounds. You can't take a sack.
10 seconds. This is a crucial stand for St. Louis. Dormady, no one there.
Good job.
That's a smart play. You heard Shane Matthews. You hear him say, good job. Smart play, wide. No more timeouts. So ball's got to either be out of bounds or in the end zone. A few weeks ago, there was a sack, and that sack caused Orlando to lose a game they could have won. But going back to this play by Quentin Dormady, I mean, look at the precision of this pass. This is a cover 2, so you have a player underneath and a safety over top trying to get to that edge. A perfect pass beats any kind of coverage.
There's Jose Borregales. He's made 6 straight. This kick, they've got a flag. This kick goes back.
I have a false start of 78.
78. 78.
Hold up.
False start. What'd you have? 78. False start. Number 78. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
These points so critical for St. Louis. Ultimately, a field goal doesn't give Orlando the lead. However, every point allowed is a potential backbreaker when they're trying to close the gap on the Seattle defense. 51 yards for Borregales, the former Lou Groza Award winner at Miami. And a whistle. And a timeout.
Prior to the snap, St. Louis has called their third and final charge timeout.
So Anthony Beck trying to ice Borregales. That's how big this kick potentially is. The 9-part docuseries Player 54 continues with an all-access look at XFL players and coaches. Episode 7 premieres Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN2. All episodes are available on ESPN+.
And Lowell, to your point about the points, it's not just these two teams competing. I say these two teams, I mean St. Louis and Seattle competing for the points. It's where do they rank in their division, the XFL North? Where do they rank against DC and Vegas? And then if that tiebreaker isn't sufficient, where do they rank in the entire XFL? And so they're competing against the teams that are going to play after this game as well.
Tough to see anyone in their division passing them, but there are more teams in between them in the XFL overall if it comes down to a 5th tiebreaker. 51-yarder is up, and it is no good. That is a win, not just in this moment, but for the BattleHawks to potentially make the postseason.
That's a huge win, and you could celebrate a field goal being missed, but at halftime, what will Anthony Beck tell his team? Yes, you want to win, but this game is different. How do you win? You're proud of how you played. You got to cut down the scores on defense and then try and get some more on offense.
That total's looking really good at 48 if you took the over, because we got 45 combined on the board. Are we saving the best for last here in the XFL regular season? I like it. St. Louis up by 5. Welcome back to St. Louis, home of the BattleHawks, playing for their playoff hopes, trying to keep those dreams alive. Right now, Orlando is giving them everything they can handle and even more. It's a 25-20 lead for St. Louis. That brings us to our first half stats, brought to you by Progressive Total Yards. The slight edge going to Orlando, and in there, part of that special teams goodness yet again, Mac Brown with the touchdown to Jordan Thomas, switching everything up and throwing this game upside down. Loa Galindo here with Sam Acho. We know there's so much on the line for St. Louis. The easiest way for them to get in the playoffs is for Seattle to lose. But if that doesn't happen and both the Sea Dragons and BattleHawks win, they need to make up ground. The game within the game, St. Louis and Seattle, not just Orlando. There's a lot going on here.
But even deeper than that, Lowell, there's this piece about players finally getting an opportunity. I talked with Jacoby Jones, a defensive end for the Orlando Guardians, before the game. He said, man, if it weren't for the XFL, I don't know what I would be doing right now. And so I think that's why you see some of these players playing so hard and also playing so free. It's because this is the best version of football. There's no politics. You get to play because you love the game. And no matter what your record is, you get a chance to find a way to win for your teammates, for the fans, and for your family.
And as the XFL has now done for 10 straight weeks, providing us unforgettable moments and access. Let's take an inside look.
On the feds today. Anything good you gotta say? Let me know.
Just call everything you see that goes in our favor.
Have y'all ever went to an elementary school and read to little kids? That's how easy this is.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! He holding it!
On turkey, Scott Wright Exxon, on turkey. Turkey. I'm sorry. Come on, baby, come on.
Hold on, Sam. Did we just see a quarterback take a hit and his offensive lineman say, I'm sorry?
Well, it was more than that. It was an elementary school piece for me. I've got little kids. I've gone to read them. It's hard. It's upside down sometimes, like to read to a little bit. So it's not as easy. For Katie Cannon, it might be easy for him, maybe not for me.
Hey, but he's making the big plays look easy. Orlando right now, your point in this first half is they're getting some of the bounces to go their way.
They are, and they're playing free. You see fake punts. You see big plays. You see balls that could have been recovered by the other team, yet they fall on it. And so there's a freedom that this Orlando Guardians team is playing with, and we've seen it the last 4 weeks, even from the week before they beat DC, the best team in the league. They're playing free, they're having fun, and like Terrell Buckley said, they're following the Guardian way.
Looked like maybe St. Louis was a little tight at the beginning of the game. Seems like they've loosened up as well as the game has progressed.
They have, and sometimes it goes back to who are the leaders on your team. You heard Travis Feeney say it, hey man, like, I'm the feds. He's joking around, right? I got my microphone, and so if anybody talks, they're gonna catch it. But also the piece of A.J. McCarron. He's calm, he's got experience. He won 3 national championships in college, started 2 of them, and so yes, coaches and numbers and stats, but the players are the ones who are on the field with the opportunity to change the trajectory of this season and their careers.
The fans have been electric in St. Louis as they have all season long. It's been loud for our man Fitz down on the sidelines.
Anthony Becht, head coach of St. Louis, delivered a very firm and stern message. No more points, and then offensively, keep doing what you're doing. Leroy Glover, defensive assistant coach for the D-line, also delivered a very firm message. We cannot beat ourselves and just go execute. Other than that, I can't repeat anything else I heard in the St. Louis locker room.
Thank you for the insights, Ian Fitzsimmons. Second half, here we go. Dedrick Thomas with the return. Orlando will start with the football after St. Louis decided to take the ball to try to get some momentum early on.
Keep doing what you're doing. All right, take advantage of every single snap. You're going to get the opportunity to be aggressive. Defense, not bad out there. Get off the field on 3rd down. All right, no more points for them. All right, no more points. Shut them down. Let's go.
That is a man that is fired up. Anthony Becht has done a heck of a job. It's his first season as a head coach. St. Louis came into the season as one of the preseason favorites to win it all.
Well, they have so much talent. Even 2 of the players on this Orlando Guardians roster, one of them being Jordan Thomas, played for this St. Louis team.
And that is Devin Darrington getting the carry. Darrington, solid first half, had 133 yards rushing last week in San Antonio. The second best in the league this season.
And I could see Orlando getting back to that running attack, getting the ball in Devin Darrington's hands early in the second half to calm everything down.
2nd and 5. DeAndre Francois started at quarterback. Back to Quentin Dormady. Dormady goes down. Carson Wells with the stop.
Wipe me down. There was nowhere to go from Carson Wells on the left side, pushing the pocket, collapsing the pocket, to Travis Feeney on the right side. LaCale London on the inside. That's called 4 people rushing as one. There's nowhere for the quarterback to escape. Coverage was great on the backside, and then Carson Wells finishes with the sack.
A shutout in the second half is vital for St. Louis. That message relayed from Anthony Becht through Ian Fitzsimmons to us. Dormady's just going to flip it to Darrington. Darrington spinning out of 1 tackle. And 3 BattleHawks there to bring him down. That will force a punt. High alert with the punt situation coming up.
Well, they talk about having a few fakes up. They even put a new punt fake in not too long ago. And so you have to be on alert. But you also have to trust your technique and your preparation. If there are different people out there, you're St. Louis, you're saying, hey, we got to make sure that there is not a fake coming out.
Remember, Mac Brown wasn't even the starting punter to begin the season for Orlando. That was Johnny Townsend, who ended up getting hurt early in the season to open the door for Mac Brown out of Ole Miss. What do we have here? Oh, it's just a punt? Come on. There is a flag. Stephen Mitchell off the hop to the 30. looking for the sideline and tackled shy of the 40 by Mac Brown. Oh, they're going at the punter. He is living rent-free inside the BattleHawks dome.
Hey, go slow here. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, here's the punch. This right here.
Yeah, illegal shift on the 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we got a legal shift because they're not set, and we saw that. He was never set. That's the first one. And then we're going to have something different. So we know we have Orlando up front.
So hold on, talk it through.
Yep.
So who's your foul on? Blue 33, he's the receiving team.
Yep.
Okay, so you said that. Okay, so no late hit out of bounds?
No late hit. They don't have a late hit.
So you said it was in play, so you're talking something after
the
play with a chip shot.
which is fine.
Okay, so you're going dead ball. So we got the live ball and a dead ball there. But is it still, so you're in too? What do you have?
There's a third foul.
So there's no foul there, so we're going with 38. All right, so 33. Okay, dead ball. That's going to be declined by rule. And then we're going 15 yards back that way after the play's over. Okay.
Wait, Mike,
so 30,
slow down.
So
let's talk about the enforcement. You've got a illegal shift on the kicking team, correct?
Yes,
and
correct.
We have a change of possession, and then we've got a dead ball on the receiving team. Correct?
Yes.
So we've got a double width. St. Louis can keep it and have their ball and their foul enforced, but since we have a kicking play, they can elect to re-kick. They have that option.
Yep. Yep. We're talking through that right now.
Okay, great.
Wait, each team.
Yeah. Instead of late hit.
On them. And then they were illegal motion.
So it's double width, right?
What?
So this is what we have. You have the option. We can offset both of these here and replay fourth. And then we've got a late hit by your guys, which that could be enforced with your ball.
Wait, our punt returner.
Mike, it's a re-kick. It's an offset re-kick or 15 from the dead ball spot.
Correct.
You want pretty deep. He's a ball returner.
You want offset re-kick?
Yes.
Okay. So we got 33 and then, hey, take 33 blue, and then an illegal shift by the offense.
Punt return!
Okay.
Yeah, so 22.
Two fouls on the play, both by each team. Illegal shift, kicking team. Dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team. Those fouls will offset, and we'll replay fourth down.
So that's an inside look of what happens with the communication from the XFL's VP of Rules and Officiating, Dean Blandino. He has the constant communication with his officiating staff as well. All 4 sites every weekend. And the bottom line is, it's put into place, this system, so you ultimately get the calls right.
At the end of the day, we talk about it. You want it to be correct. So if you have an opportunity to go and look and say this is what should happen, then make the correct call. In other leagues, the NFL, college football, they're looking at these types of rules, innovations, and saying maybe we should implement these types of rules as well.
Each team also has one challenge. You see that red dash below the timeouts. You can challenge anything. However, you need a timeout remaining to call a challenge. Mac Brown will punt again. Expected St. Louis to bring a little more pressure throughout the day on these punts. Haven't really had too much of an opportunity, as that is Mitchell trying to turn the corner, and is brought down at the 32-yard line. Third quarter, St. Louis with a 5-point lead, trying to slab of ribs by the Food Network, and yes, sold out. And Sam, through my travels, I've learned there's one good way to pick a fight. If you say another city's barbecue is better than the city you're in, that's destined to lead to a brawl. I'll just say this, I've had St. Louis barbecue. It's fantastic.
You're trying to avoid a brawl after this, huh?
You know it, baby. Here's A.J. McCarron, wide open, Akeem Butler to plus territory. 22 yards for Akeem Butler.
I'm from Louisiana.
He's saving his best for last.
I live in Texas. And let me tell you something. Watching that.
8 catches, Coach. 98 yards on the day for the Iowa State Cyclone.
Sometimes when you're a type of player that can build a momentum, just keep on feeding me, and then he'll open it up for other people. And so you're going to see Akeem Butler get more targets, but watch out for Marcel Aitman as well.
McCarron wheeling and dealing. Shepard slips through one. Shepard brought down at the 35-yard line. So interesting in a league that promoted Martavis Bryant, Josh Gordon at receiver. Don't get me wrong, Gordon's been really good, but it's been the emerging threats. Ja'Cour Pearson in Seattle, Darius Shepard in St. Louis. They've been more of the story of the league. Back to Kareem Walker. Walker full head of steam. He's about 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
300 jet.
And you almost...
Z-smoke pump. Hakeem stutter and hit the sideline. Bump right tight. Action 300 jet. Z-smoke pump.
So telling Akeem Butler, stutter and hit the sideline. There's a stutter, there's the sideline, but McCarron was pressured. Flag down. McCarron's got the first down. And a flag down at the 15 and the 30.
Hey, stay there. We have 2 fouls. We have 2 fouls.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Dean, can you look at the back in 61? Was there enough engagement there on the left guard for a high-low?
I'm looking.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 23, and I've got a potential chop with 0 and 61 there.
No, I'm good. Yeah, you're okay. There's enough engagement.
Yeah. So there's 2 fouls. We're going to offset this. 23's on
Chop
yours.
block. That's what they have.
Okay. There are 2 fouls on the play, both by each team.
They're engaged.
Illegal contact, number 23. Defense, personal foul, chop block, number 0 and number 61. Offense, those fouls will offset. We'll replay. Second down.
The beauty of this league, Lowell, is that piece about communicating, and then getting the call right.
And that was a play call from Tony Carter, former All-ACC DB at Florida State, defensive coordinator for the Guardians. Second and 1. Walker almost breaks out of a tackle from Ty Smith, thinking house call, but gets a first down. Again, this is the St. Louis team playing without the league's second leading rusher, Brian Hill. He's out for personal reasons. And it's been a pass-happy approach. I mean, McCarron is putting together one of the most prolific passing games we've seen all season long.
This is who he's been all season, outside of last week coming out of that injury, but he's been precise.
I mean, I don't know if he's on the level of Mac Brown or Sterling Hofrichter, but pretty good.
Hey, we're good. Here we go.
3 national championships at Alabama, 2 as a starter at quarterback.
Walker.
Wide trade to trips right. Wide trade to trips right. G hot. Wide trade to trips right. G hot. Let's go.
Bruce Gradkowski looking for a little more intensity with his offense. Urgency. It's the name of the game for St. Louis.
Hurry up.
They need a win, and they need to make up ground on Seattle in points scored and points allowed. Play action, McCarron, end zone, what a catch! Stephen Mitchell put him on the Sports Center top 10.
You heard the communication right before the snap. A.J. McCarron talking to Stevie Mitchell, and he gets him on the same page. Rolls out to the right, knows the pressure is coming, and lays it out away from the defender. And Stevie Mitchell makes the play right before A.J. McCarron told him, go make it for me.
That is a former NFL quarterback with an NFL throw to a former NFL receiver making an NFL catch. Stephen Mitchell with 10 games in his NFL career, last played in 2020 with the Texans. 2-point attempt here for St. Louis. All sorts of time for McCarron. directing traffic, back in the end zone, tight window, 2 more points. It's that man again, Stephen Mitchell, ×2.
22 with the back-to-back touchdown and the 2-point conversion. 2 for 2. You see A.J. McCarron make the check to Stevie Mitchell. Feels the pressure, knows it's going to be one-on-one, rolls out, gets the ball into the end zone. Stevie Mitchell gets the ball at the highest point and outduels the defender. And then he follows it up with a 2 for 2 by 22. A.J. McCarron, Stevie Mitchell putting points on the board.
.9:32 to go in the third quarter. St. Louis now leads Orlando 33-20. How much does point differential and tiebreakers come into decision-making right now, Coach Beck?
Well, yeah, you know, we've been aggressive the whole game. I mean, we're having fun right now. This is a point in the game for us. Great try by our offense. We had a stop on defense. This is where you can kind of maybe get one from them on the defensive side. It's a huge opportunity for our defense here. So every time we get the ball, we really haven't been stopped offensively. We got to keep it going. A lot of time left. Clock's in our favor. Guys have momentum. We got to keep scoring.
Well,
thank you. So if both Seattle and St. Louis win this weekend, it's going to come down to a 4th or 5th tiebreaker to determine who goes to the XFL playoffs. This is Dedrick Thomas. There's a flag down. Thomas keeps going north of the 35.
Holding 65 Orlando during the return.
I had that same one, 65. We're done on that? Wow, it was that much in the open. Hey, where do we want to enforce that from? We want to go from the 24 or the big line? Big line good? 25?
25-yard line's fine. It's a 10-yard foul.
Yeah. 65, we said yes.
65, yes, sir.
6-5. During the return, holding number 65, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
So the 4th tiebreaker would be your combined rank in scoring offense and defense in the division. Currently, Seattle, coming into the week, leads in both. St. Louis would need to match them in both of those categories or pass them in one of them to force a 5th tiebreaker, where Seattle would still have the edge. If they pass them in both, St. Louis would go. Quint Dormady, quick pass behind Cody Lattimore. Here's the deal, though. Because Seattle plays last, so they will know the magic number. And this is why we're on the 4th tiebreaker. The head-to-head, the teams split. First one was very close. St. Louis winning in Seattle. Winning percentage in division games are both 3-3. And the combined record of the teams they defeated, it's the same record. So that brings us to the 4th tiebreaker. I know it's convoluted, but it will make sense at the end of the weekend. First down from Dormady to Cody Lattimore. Now that is if both teams win. If Seattle loses, this game is irrelevant. If Seattle loses, St. Louis will go to the XFL playoffs. Did you get all that? Dormady again, locking in on Cody Lattimore, the former 2nd-round pick by the Denver Broncos, 2nd leading receiver in the XFL. Fitz.
I'm going to call Matt Damon and see if I can channel Goodwill Hunting to try and figure all that stuff out that you're talking about, brother.
We need a chalkboard.
I mean, a mathematician, please. Lord have mercy.
So here, it comes down to this. Seattle, as it stands right now, needs to score more than 14 points against Vegas and allow less than 26. Fitz, those are both doable numbers. And if Seattle does that, they advance if both teams win.
Lowell, it took me 6.5 years to get out of undergrad at Alabama. You're making my head hurt, but God bless you.
Hey, I'm making my head hurt.
You can feel now, Lowell and Fitz, the crowd get involved into this game. They understand how critical of a moment this is.
3rd and 3, Dormady into traffic. It is brought in by Jalen Smith, another former BattleHawk for the first down.
Double smash. Actually,
we
go
heard
lefty. Tell Jalen go lefty.
My God.
Lefty. Lefty.
Is that possible?
My guy is drinking a beer through a Hawks mask. I don't know how that's possible, but I love that guy. Dormady, quick strike. Dan Williams. Decent gain on first down.
Yeah.
I wanted the math on that, on the guy with the BattleHawks.
Inside pin.
That's got to add to your total in some way. Play calls coming in from Shane Matthews, one of Steve Spurrier's former gunslingers at Florida. There he is. St. Louis cannot surrender more points. Dormady engulfed by the BattleHawks defense. Give the sack to Elam Lamore.
That's back-to-back weeks for Elam Lamore with the sack. Started off the season strong, got injured, but we talked about it. 4 rushing as 1. You see all the guys, even back to Jalen Robinson. He's the cover guy. He's the one who's making sure the quarterback doesn't escape. 3 of the defenders all collapsing the pocket. 1 guy spying on the quarterback. That's called a unit, a defense playing as one body.
Dormady sacked. Laquel London. The pride of Western Illinois, Eric Hansen from Upper Iowa, also there.
Sometimes, Lowell, you can take the game into your own hands. Laquel London is a big body. He's 335 pounds. They lined him up on the outside to use his power, and then Eric Hansen on the inside, he loops around. And so it doesn't matter who on this defense is getting the pressure, but all 4 guys on the front, even the rotation, guys are getting it.
And you can feel the magnitude of every snap. It's going to be like this till we hit zeros in the last game of the weekend with Seattle and Vegas. Urgency, Sam. Because this is week 10 of the XFL, final week of the regular season, and it continues with the Defenders and the Brahmas at 3 Eastern over on ABC. And tomorrow, the Renegades host the Roughnecks at 3 Eastern on ESPN, with the Vipers and Sea Dragons at 7 on ESPN2. Every game is also available on ESPN+. Arlington with the win, they are in. If Arlington loses and San Antonio wins, the Brahmas go into the XFL playoffs. And with the Seattle loss, that at the moment looks like St. Louis's best shot to go. A Seattle loss, regardless of what happens here, sends the BattleHawks to the playoffs. But both St. Louis and Seattle, 2 of the biggest favorites this weekend that we've seen all season long. How tough is it to play when you are that heavily favored?
Well, it's more probably tougher to coach. As a player, you're saying, hey, I'm looking at my matchup, whether I'm a defensive end looking at the offensive tackle, or if I'm a safety reading what the quarterback does. You focus on your matchup. But as a coach, you start looking at the numbers. You start thinking about the momentum that you may or may not have. It does get difficult. So you have to channel your emotions and just do what you've done all season long.
Momentum squarely residing on the shoulders of the BattleHawks. They have scored touchdowns on 4 straight possessions. A.J. McCarron unconscious. McCarron into the hands of Butler. Case and blood. Butler, you're not gonna catch me.
Let's go, baby. You want to know why this league is so great for so many players? Hakeem Butler was a 4th-round pick in the NFL. Had a great opportunity, great college career. He broke his hand in training camp. All of a sudden, you lose the opportunity. But here you're showing, I'm healthy, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm still scoring. 66 yards later, Hakeem Butler, touchdown, run up them points, baby.
And how about Marcel Aitman, who was supposed to be the go-to receiver of the St. Louis offense? He's dealt with a hammy injury for a long part of this season. He had the key block.
He had the key block, and that's a team being a team. I've known Marcel Aitman for over a few years now. He's the ultimate teammate, whether he did it in college, whether he does it off the field with his family. He's the ultimate teammate. And that's the stuff that doesn't show up in a scoreboard, how you block.
Put my low end zone. Yep, I'm going to look at my left 25. He's engaged at this point. Feet are moving. He continues. I'm going to go to the high end zone next. So I've got 3 engaged. I'm looking. I don't see. I see something hooked. But I see he keeps his feet moving. I want to look at one more shot. I'm going to look at my all 22 to see if there's any restriction. Feet are moving, keeps going. Okay. After review, Mike, there's just not enough restriction there. Keeps his feet moving, not enough to say holding. Ruling on the field stands.
So this is a challenge by Orlando when you challenge.
Review the ruling of a hold. There is no foul. It's a touchdown. Orlando loses their challenges for the remainder of the game and is charged a timeout.
You must specify what part of the play you are challenging. You cannot make a blanket challenge, but I can't blame Terrell Buckley in this moment for looking for something.
It's a big moment. You want to use your challenge. You can't take it home with you. You call your timeout. You say specifically, I think that number 3 was holding, and if you see it, then it gets called. If the Dean Blandino doesn't see it, doesn't get called. But that's the stuff that matters more than anything. NFL coaches are watching this tape and saying, who makes the big plays? Who also does the little things? Little things done well make big things happen.
164 through the air for Butler. Tops in the XFL this season. Best for last. Week 10 here in St. Louis. 8 men can't make the catch. McCarron feeling pressure. It has been tough to rattle A.J. McCarron. Seattle did it last week, but he's been unflappable here today.
A.J. McCarron has been not only the consummate pro, but the example of what this opportunity provides. Could have been a backup in the NFL. He said, no, I want to play so my kids can watch me play. And oh, by the way, because I'm going to be great, I'm going to have all of those around me be great. Stevie Mitchell, Marcel Aitman, Darius Shepard, every single, and Akeem Butler, every one of my players, I'm going to give them an opportunity as well.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
And it's playoff intensity from a guy that's experienced it. He's played at the highest level at Alabama, college football playoffs, won 2 national titles as a starter, 3 overall while at Alabama. This is a playoff atmosphere, and it feels that way inside the dome. You cannot escape the magnitude. It's so intriguing in a way that's only can be done in the XFL, the game within the game. St. Louis trying to win this while they make up ground on Seattle in the tiebreaker scenario. Thomas to the 30-yard line.
And you know what this does? This puts more pressure on Seattle. Seattle came into this game watching, saying, well, we're good. You know, we're up by 19 in points and 6 in points against. But now all of a sudden, you might feel that pressure as a player. You might want to force a few more throws tomorrow. You might want to score more points tomorrow. And so by playing the game the way you need to play it in this game, you're putting pressure on an opponent that is sitting at home watching.
So if both team wins, the magic numbers for Seattle, they need to score more than 20 points, which is below pretty much their season scoring average, and allow less than 26. DeAndre Francois back at quarterback. He got his first career start here today. Bullet pass. Charleston Rambo, KD Cannon with the grab.
You're seeing them get back into that quarterback chain Terrell Buckley talked about. I'm going to give both quarterbacks an opportunity. And now we're going to see if Francois will either use his legs or use his arm to come back and win this game.
It has to be shutout football for St. Louis the rest of the way. That was the message from Beck at the half. Francois on skates. Get the first down. Breaking ankles is DeAndre Francois. So Seattle averaging 24 points per game when we talk about that magic number for them.
And that's the piece, too, that matters a lot more than we're giving it credit for. Seattle came into this game knowing, okay, if we win, we're probably going to be in. But now you saw St. Louis score more than they've scored in a half all season. It's still 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're just getting started. You've got an offense in Seattle that scores a lot, but that does turn the ball over a lot. If you start forcing it in that game, now you could put your defense at detriment.
Seattle still does have a huge advantage because of the 20 points allowed by St. Louis in this game. That would be critical if it comes down to a fifth tiebreaker, which is the overall rank in scoring offense and defense among all teams in the XFL. There are more teams between Seattle and St. Louis in the overall rankings. When it's just the division, they are back-to-back.
You can almost feel the pressure of the moment for both teams in this scenario. St. Louis knowing what needs to be stopped, Orlando saying what we can do to end it.
2nd and 5. Francois hit, dropped. Lamore does it again.
I'll say this. When Elam Lamore is healthy, and he has been these last few weeks, he is a game wrecker. He's at the top of your screen. He simply just does a club and a rip. All you do, you see the offensive lineman's outside hand, you hit it down, which turns your hips around, then you rip your arm through. It's one of the most basic pass rush moves in the book, but when you perfect it, it can be nearly unstoppable.
Finished his career at Towson. Started it at Rutgers, where he led the Scarlet Knights in sacks in 3 straight years. He's got 2 here today. 3rd down, pitch and catch to Dan Williams. It's close.
Ruling on the field is completed pass short of the line to gain. It's 4th down.
Go for it, Tom, here for the Guardians.
Previous play was under review. It was determined that the receiver made the line to gain. It's 1st down.
43.
Orlando.
43-yard line.
So here's the benefit.
Yep, we're going to move the ball to the 43, 1st and 10.
43-yard line.
Here's your,
move it a half.
There's your progress spot right there.
Good.
You can see contact, and he's right on the 43. Maintains control, completes the catch.
So, Dean, that's something you're looking at immediately, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Line to gain, scoring plays, catch, no catch. That's all from the command center. We saw that the line to gain was made at the 43.
Thank you, Dean. Francois on 1st down. Hit as he throws. Sells high. Oh, the gimme. It was there for Lucas Dennis.
So I don't know if y'all saw what I saw, but number 96, LaCale London, just ran through the offensive guard. I'm not going to say his name, give the man some grace, but I will say this. Lucas Dennis has a pick on the season. He had a high goal, a lofty goal. But remember last time, you miss a play, you make a play. Fundamentals, technique, fall into your lap.
There's Darrington working left side and brought down in a hurry. Good pursuit by Carson Wells.
You gonna keep letting him hit me like that?
Yeah, but you turn your back right when he was going, right when he was doing it.
Yeah, it sounded painful. I can only imagine how it actually felt. 4th quarter time. Will this be the final quarter of football for the St. Louis BattleHawks? They're fighting to make sure that is not the case. 39-20, but they need a shutout here the rest of the way. 34 in attendance today here inside the Dome at America's Center. Every game inside the Dome, more than 33,000, the 5 biggest crowds in the XFL. To the city of St. Louis, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for embracing your team, embracing the lead, being loud. You deserve football. This city deserves football, and the XFL has delivered. 3rd and 8. Francois, that's going to be short. 2 yards shy. Another no-brainer 4th down coming up for the Guardians.
And Lowell, you talk about the city of St. Louis, but really every city in the XFL, we've been a part of these crowds, these fans. I got to pay homage to them because they're showing up for their team, for their city, for these players, and it means something.
Different here, the fact that football has been taken away. XFL bringing it back. 4th and 2. Francois will stay up. 1st down yardage and tripped up by the turf monster. But DeAndre Francois gets the job done with a 10-yard pickup on 4th.
That's the difference when you have a quarterback who can use his legs. As soon as it's not there, immediately he gets his head down and starts to go. And if it weren't for that turf monster, which you know you can get up and keep going unless you're touched, it would have been a turnover on downs.
Inside the 30, St. Louis needs a takeaway right now. Thought they had one, slipped through the hands of Lucas Dennis. They cannot allow points if they want a shot in the tiebreaker scenario. Francois, picked off, they got it! Dennis isn't dropping this one. He's back up, cutting back. If at first you don't succeed, pick it off the 2nd time.
The ball does not lie. Lucas Dennis was working corporate jobs in Boston before this. One of the smartest dudes, went to number 4 business school. This dude missed a play, but then sometimes you just trust your technique and you will make a play. He had a lofty goal. He wanted 10 picks on the season. He's dropped a few. Now he's got it.
Boston College BattleHawks, Brandon Sebastian and Lucas Dennis, both with interceptions. McCarron to follow. Durant to the sideline. Spinning, staying up to the 30. Give him 28 yards. The NFL draft begins Thursday, and we'll have every pick once again on ESPN, along with our usual expert analysis. It's also available on the NFL Network, and ABC's coverage focuses on the prospects' journey to the draft. All 3 days are also live on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. Durant carrying the load with no Brian Hill, and he wants all the contact. Fitz.
Thanks, Lo. Lucas, you're working at Daly & Associates as a financial advisor, and here you are grabbing picks in the XFL.
Sir, I just saw, the ball come up in the air. I had an opportunity last play, didn't make it, and I owed my team that one.
What's it mean not working that 9 to 5 and being out here with the boys?
Honestly, the best thing I could have dreamed of. Just playing football again is the best opportunity. And there we go. There we go.
Well, Shepard inside the 5. And Sam, we can't sum up how significant that interception was, because points matter in the chase with Seattle, and they took at least 3 off the board.
And even psychologically, sometimes if you mess up or you make a mistake, some players go down in the dumps. He said, no, forget about it. Next play. When he was doing that job in Boston, all he would do was watch football. So he said, I can't wait for this opportunity.
Go, stop! 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 Set!
McCarron, the master at the line of scrimmage. McCarron for Butler, overthrown. That's the guy you want to go to. 9 catches, 164. McCarron with 350 through the air. Second most in the XFL this season. Unreal.
Set. 180. Wait, check.
Shepard, back shoulder, like a loaf of bread. Pour it on.
So when he was at North Dakota State, he came back and ran routes for Trey Lance's pro day. And Darius Shepard actually was a little bit upset with Trey Lance for saying, man, you got to write down exactly what the yardage marks are, where the sticks are for every single route, the precision of this route, the timing of the route, the perfectly placed ball, then the ability to bring it back in. That's why he's a three-time FCS national champion.
St. Louis, a week after having their lowest offensive output of the season, they have their best with 45 and still plenty of time to add. 2-point attempt.
180. Wait, check.
Slant off the hands. We have a flag. It went from Gary Jennings and almost ended up in the midst of Aitman.
The ball touch beyond. Beyond. He was blocked. He was screened out. He was screened out. He was screened out.
No foul.
No foul for offensive pass interference. Yes. No foul for offensive pass interference.
There is no foul on the play. The try is no good. Timeout on the field.
Darius Shepard turned his head, and there was a football there. One hand. Check that out. 45 on the board for the BattleHawks.
Begins April 27th on ESPN and ABC.
Looking forward to that getting underway on Thursday. So much intrigue with the quarterbacks. I want to see where Will Anderson ends up and how he harasses quarterbacks in the NFL.
I want to see where Jackson Smith-Njigba ends up. He's that receiver from Ohio State who played with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and oftentimes outproduced them in college. And so he's going to be a very high draft pick.
This all fits in, too, with the XFL fabric. It's the first time a spring league has really worked hand in hand with the NFL when it comes to rules, innovations, and also embracing the fact that these players are looking for opportunities to play in the NFL. Fitz.
Lowell, talking to several scouts and NFL GMs and preparing for the NFL draft, which I'll be a part of with Mike Tannenbaum, Chris Canty, and Chris Carlin on ESPN Radio. Not one but two NFL general managers brought up the name Darius Shepard to me. You talk about a league of opportunity. Not only are they getting ready and scouting college players and other teams, but also this league, Shepard, again, not one but two NFL GMs brought him up as a returner.
Great point, Fitz. We're also going to have late-round selections that, for whatever reason, may not stick as Dormady finds Jamil that could immediately end up in the XFL.
And one thing about the timing of this league is that as soon as this league ends, teams are allowed to contact XFL players. They may not be able to sign until May. Got to get through the draft and that first part of the offseason team activities. But this is a perfectly timed season. Season ends, draft begins, find your NFL needs.
Dormady into traffic, back to Jamil. Jamil's getting his shot to show what he's made of, because for some of these players, even if you're not going to get an invite to an NFL camp, you're trying to get invited back to your team. Each XFL franchise will retain the rights to their players, but there is going to be roster movement in the offseason. There's Jordan Thomas with a gain of about 8.
And you listen to some of the players as you talk to them, a lot of them want to go to the NFL, but some of them love this league. They love being able to play in this environment with these players and to still have an opportunity to play. And so some have been to the NFL, want to get there. Some haven't. Some that's their goal. But the goal of this league is to make this the destination where everyone wants to go.
We think about A.J. McCarron. He's made his money with a long career in the NFL as a backup. He's secure in that area. Now he gets to play. That's something I've never thought of, really. These backup quarterbacks, it's a great job they're competitors, and they don't get to play. Here they do.
And he said he's not done yet. No matter what happens at the end of this game, whether they make it or not, really at the end of tomorrow's game with Seattle, he said he's not done playing football, whether that's here in the XFL or likely, which it may be, NFL scouts watching this saying, man, maybe this guy deserves a shot to start in the NFL, not just be a backup in the NFL.
We saw it the last version of the XFL in 2020. A guy like P.J. Walker out of Houston ended up starting games for the Carolina Panthers.
Taylor Heineke as well.
Here's Quentin Dormady, and that's to the former BattleHawk Jordan Thomas. There are 7 players currently on XFL rosters that started the season with St. Louis and were cut from the BattleHawks. Not because they were bad players, but because this roster is so loaded. It says a lot about Becht and scouting talent.
It's one of the deepest rosters in the XFL, hands down.
Quick hitter to Andrew Jamil. So here we go again. This is vital in the race with Seattle to close the gap on them in scoring offense and defense. St. Louis really cannot allow more points. Last time inside the 30, they got the interception by Lucas Dennis. They need something else along those lines. Because if both Seattle and St. Louis win, it will go to the 4th or maybe even 5th tiebreaker, which is the divisional rank of combined scoring offense and defense. Allowing 20 points already makes it an uphill battle for St. Louis, but it's still in the realm of possibility at 20. Draw for Dormady. He's got the first down right at the 20-yard line. Week 10 in the XFL continues with the Defenders and Brahmas at 3 Eastern over on ABC. And tomorrow, the Renegades host the Roughnecks at 3 Eastern on ESPN. Well, the Vipers and Sea Dragons at 7 on ESPN2. Every game is also available on ESPN+. Every snap, every point is going to matter from start to finish in week number 10 to determine the final 2 spots in the XFL playoffs. DC with 1 loss to Orlando. That's it on the season. They've secured home field in the north. Houston has secured home field in the south.
St. Louis has already scored 45 points this game. That's the most by any team in the XFL all season long. And so you think that they're not keeping track of what we're talking about? They know it full well.
Dormady. That is complete to Charleston Rambo, the Miami Hurricane, and former OU Sooner. St. Louis, more than a stop, they need a takeaway again. On the ground to Martin, and it's a first down. So if both teams win, St. Louis would have to catch Seattle in both scoring offense and scoring defense to force a 5th tiebreaker, or pass them in one of those categories. If they could pass them in both, they go. St. Louis goes. Fade ball, and that is the play that worked against San Antonio last week with big old Jordan Thomas. Now, the easiest way to figure out this playoff scenario is a Seattle loss. Doesn't matter what happens here, St. Louis is automatically in.
And even though you're up by 25 at this point, you're St. Louis, you're still looking at that clock tick and tick and tick in the XFL, whether it's an incomplete or out of bounds. The clock will not stop outside of those 2 minutes. And so you're trying to get a stop, but hurry up and get a turnover to get the ball back to your offense.
Dormady, deep drop, swatted away, looking for Cody Lattimore. And Brandon Sebastian with a PBU. That dude loves it. 3rd and goal, about to get loud.
Chicago X fade.
You heard the X fade by Shane Matthews, so you should be looking for number 81, Jordan Thomas, 6'5", 277.
Looks left instead. Touchdown, Charleston Rambo. That could be a backbreaker for the BattleHawks. Yes, they're going to win this game, but that could be the play that keeps St. Louis out of the playoffs.
You could see the devastation on Anthony Beck's face. How do we give that up on third down? Obviously, you got Thomas on the outside, but you go to the backside to Rambo. But now, you talked about it. Those could be the points, but these two low could be the points that matter.
Even there, you got to be smart.
The easier path to catching Seattle would have been defensively to pitch a shutout in this game. But Orlando is not cooperating and put it on the spot to KD Cannon. And the conversion hits. Nothing to lose for Terrell Buckley and the Guardians. Everything on the line for St. Louis.
Yeah, that smile might have got a little bit bigger for Coach Terrell Buckley. You see Charleston Rambo with the big touchdown, and Anthony Beck wondering, wishing, hoping, will it be enough?
Favorite San Antonio, and he could get the Brahmas into the XFL playoffs. But there's a must. Must beat DC, a team that's only lost once, and Arlington must also lose. I don't know who that guy is, but he's locked in, and he's wearing a turtleneck to an XFL game. Fan of the day right there. Orlando to kick it away. 5:10 left to go in the fourth quarter. Those points allowed, potentially backbreakers for St. Louis. We'll get into the math here in just a moment. Darius Shepard with the return from the 5. Darius Shepard looking for Green. Gets it to the 50. Still on his feet to the 40. Shepard showing why he's the best in the XFL at doing that. Turtleneck man. I don't know what's going on inside his head, but it's all admiration from here.
You wonder why XFL coaches, or really NFL coaches, are looking at Darius Shepard. It's big returns like that. He came into this game leading the XFL in return yards, and he's continuing that march.
A.J. McCarron closing in on Ben DiNucci for most passing yards in a game. DiNucci has 377. McCarron has 354. They need more points. It will not be enough. McCarron, Shepard inside the 20 to the 10.
So here's the beauty. You see it's almost like an outside zone play, an outside play. Darius Shepard gets the block from Gary Jennings and returns it. And then also the precision, the timing, the spacing of this route, of the pass. Darius Shepard, he's been doing this all season long. He's continuing in the special teams game and as a receiver.
384 for McCarron, an XFL record.
Hey, kick cold.
He's also got 5 touchdowns. Looking to add at least one more.
Kick cold. 180. White side.
Jennings at running back, showing some shiftiness. The converted wide receiver inside the 5-yard line. All right, looking at the math. This is what you need to know. Seattle needs to score more than 26 tomorrow against Vegas and allow less than 34. If they can do both of those things, Sea Dragons are in. McCarron to Aitman. Tried the Shepard one-hander. Could not get it. And at this point, Sam, it needs to be passing Seattle in both, because the 5th tiebreaker would come into it if they only pass Seattle in one category.
Number 55 is checking in as eligible. Number 55 is checked in as eligible.
Because right now, if you look at the XFL wide numbers, Seattle is number 2 overall in scoring defense, and St. Louis is way back at 5 and could drop more.
180.
Third and goal. McCarron rocked off the fingertips of Butler. We got a late flag. Is McCarron okay, though?
In the inside.
Yeah, it would be at the 1 yard line. What's the number? 13? Number 1? Pass interference, number 1. Defense, ball be placed at the 1 yard line. It's first down.
It's against C.J. Holmes.
And this is why, Lowell, to your point, all the other games matter, because in that fifth tiebreaker, it goes to league-wide. And so that defensive mark, Seattle is way, way ahead. But those other games, Arlington, Houston, coming into this game, there was a 6-point differential between what these teams have given up. And so maybe Arlington gives up some points in Houston, but you can't rely on all that to happen.
First and goal for McCarron. Kareem Walker upended at the 1 yard line. The most likely path for St. Louis, if it would have been wins for them and Seattle, would have been scoring defense. That has been a disappointment here. 73 points, tying the highest scoring game this season. 45 for St. Louis. That is an XFL best. Orlando standing tall. And Walker, half yard away. And a flag is out late.
I've got a good spot at the 1 yard line.
'73. All right. And we're going to go back, and it's going to be
73.
Third down, correct?
Yep, the offense. So it's St. Louis 73.
Number 73, got it.
Yanked him off the pile.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct number 73, offense.
Yep.
15-yard penalty, the down counts. It's third down.
That hurts.
That is number 73's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Is there a lot there?
Well, you see that the play is over. The referee's right there. They don't want players going into piles and pulling other opposing players off of piles. So that's where that call is called.
Coming up on the 2-minute warning. And it doesn't look like St. Louis will get a play off. And we go to the final 2 minutes.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Season
Timeout
for
on the
the
field.
Orlando Guardians, and potentially for Anthony Becht, A.J. McCarron, and St. Jordan Ta'amu and D.C. trying to roll into the XFL playoffs with some momentum. They know they're hosting. Who's it going to be, though? St. Louis or Seattle? Before that, they've got the Promise coming up next on ABC. Inside the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, that will be the host site of the XFL championship game. Captain Kikaw fired up for the moment. I feel that way calling these games with you, Sam. It's a compliment. Third and goal from the 15 for McCarron on a record-setting day. And more. BattleHawks ain't done yet. A 400-yard game for A.J. McCarron.
I don't know if there's another team that has this many weapons. If it's not Stevie Mitchell, it's Hakeem Butler. If it's not Hakeem Butler, it's Marcel Aitman. If it's not Marcel Aitman, it's Darius Shepard. If it's not, it's Gary This offense is so explosive. And then, oh, by the way, no Brian Hill. Oh, by the way, your quarterback is A.J. McCarron.
Yeah.
St. Louis lining up for the two-point conversion.
Go Razor! 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 Set! 180! 110!
And McCarron to Butler. Two more. and trucks that football into the home field fans of St. Louis.
Yeah, where you want it. I don't want to get stupid. We need points. So 2, where you want it.
2. Now here's something to think about. Anthony Beck told us coming into this game he would be open to a late game onside kick. Now can't do the 4th and 15 because they lead. The problem is though, the points allowed are the bigger issue right now than points scored. If you don't convert on an onside kick, you put Orlando in great field position to score.
So what you do now is you kick it off normally as planned, and then now you use your timeouts. It doesn't make sense to rip by so much. No, it does. Use your timeouts, stop the offense, and then you'll have your opportunity to get one more score.
So we saw the point scenario there. Seattle needs to score more than 34 against Vegas and allow less than 34. With the win under those parameters, Seattle will go to the XFL playoffs. Dedrick Thomas. Hit brought down at the 25. And really, I would say the only hope outside of a Vegas upset for St. Louis is Vegas needs to score a ton of points. Because even if St. Louis passes Seattle with scoring offense, the margin is so big between those teams now in the overall XFL rankings, which would be your 5th tiebreaker, that they don't have a shot in that scenario with the 5th tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough in this scenario. So on defense, you say, all right, guys, forget the scoreboard. Get a sack, get a pick 6, force a turnover, give our offense the ball.
Jordan Thomas brought down from behind by Travis Feeney. And what this also is a final 2 minutes, a celebration of a fantastic season for St. Louis, for the XFL here in St. Louis, and for Orlando, a team that has gone through their lumps, have a marquee win against DC, have given hope to Terrell Buckley with a year of experience. Next year will be a different story for this Guardians franchise.
And it's all these players who are getting an opportunity to play. Some of them will go to the next level. Some of them, this may be their last ride.
Dormady feeling the pressure sliding down. Yeah, we talked to Terrell Buckley about a guy like Stanley Maponga, who we saw shaking it earlier in the game. Maponga is the oldest player.
St. Louis has called the first charge timeout of the second half. Must be a 30-second timeout.
Maponga, the oldest player on this Orlando team at 32 years. Terrell Buckley loves him, has a new appreciation for what he means to the younger guys on the team. But that's a player, he doesn't know at his age if he's getting another shot. This could be it.
And he had his shot in the NFL, and he said, as a young player, I didn't really have the mentorship that I would have hoped for. Now, let me give that same mentorship to guys in this league. Maybe I'll extend their XFL career. Maybe I'll extend their NFL career, or at least teach them the habits that I did not have coming out of TCU.
Playoffs start next week. 2 teams are in, waiting for the final 2. We may not know until the clock strikes 0 in the final game of the XFL season. That is the way you want to build up drama, and this league has delivered.
And we talk about this game in the XFL North. The game after us, the XFL South has a huge matchup as well. San Antonio wins, needs Arlington to lose. 2 playoff spots are open. Let's see how it unfolds.
There's a 3rd and 5 for Dormady. Looking for Jameer, miscommunication that will bring up a 4th down.
So what'll be interesting here is Coach Buckley talks about all the fakes that he has up this week. This seems like a normal punt situation. But what are you thinking? It's 4th and 5. Could you use one of those fakes right now to keep the other team from getting the ball back?
We're going to go from one shutdown corner turned head coach to another, because coming up next is the Colorado spring game with Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. as Orlando calls a timeout. Sam, I'm excited to see what Deion Sanders can do in Boulder, Colorado. Come on now. Are you serious? The most swaggy dude in the world coming out, probably greeting Ralphie with the cowboy hat on. That is the dude right there. One of my heroes growing up. Prime time. T-Mac.
Well, you guys know I'm from Denver, Colorado. I have a ton of friends who graduated from Boulder, and I have not in my lifetime felt the same excitement for Colorado football. It's really cool for the entire state, just what Deion has done there. And just to make sure it's in full Colorado condition, it's like 28 degrees in Boulder today. So.
Absolutely love it. Taylor McGregor, Ian Fitzsimmons, and another Mac Brown fake. Will this one work? Picked off! Brandon Sebastian with number 2. Clock strikes midnight for the Magic Man, Mac Brown.
Dominate the day. What a time to make a play like that. So it's a fake. You know it's a fake, but see the coverage. Everyone's staying back in your zone. Even if the quarterback, in this case, the punter, rolls out to one side, stay in your zone. The ball gets tipped up in the air. Yeah. Make the play for your team.
Here's Beck.
Yeah, ball. Yeah, go. Let's go.
It's amazing how so many of the mic'd up moments of the head coaches, it's just them screaming, yes, go!
It's jubilation. Sometimes you don't have the words to say, but that feeling is too much.
Those are the magic numbers. This is why Seattle has the advantage. If Seattle wins and they score more than 34 points and allow Vegas to less than 34, Seattle will go to the XFL playoffs over St. Louis. And at this point, as we're shedding tackles here in St. Louis, bouncing off Gary Jennings, the edge decidedly goes to to Seattle in the tie-break scenarios. But I'm not ready to write off Seattle. If they did it in the first week, they could do it again. I mean, St. Louis with the Magic, that 4th and 15 comeback against San Antonio, they can still get in if Vegas pulls the upset against the Sea Dragons. Who's your favorite to win it all, Sam?
DC has been hard to stop. That's the thing. But if St. Louis finds a way in, right? DC's been hard to stop. Seattle, I think, is one of the, if not the most complete team. But if St. Louis finds a way in with this offense, they're going to be dangerous.
I'm saying Seattle's the team to beat. Because what we overlook with the Sea Dragons, we talk so much about June Jones, DiNucci, Pearson, all the playmakers that they have around them, Josh Gordon. That Ron Zook defense, it's the best in the league.
They are the best in the league from the front end to the back end. Look at guys like Lyndon Stevens on the back end, Antoine Brooks. Then you got the pass rushers, guys like Tuzar Skipper. They are a complete team. And that's why we're looking at these numbers like, man, we're going to get this win and we'll be fine. That's what they're thinking as they watch.
Stomp it. 180. Wait, son.
The Karen ball is up. Big boy. He's got it. And sliding down and taking a hit is Jared Jones-Smith.
28. Ball's at the 28-yard line. Where he picked it up. 28-yard line. I got your spot, 28.
Recovered. It was recovered here. We got it at the 28. We killed it there. Good deal. Connor, what do we have here, bud?
I got a late hit.
Talk to me.
Is that you saying slow down, D?
Yeah.
I got a late hit on number 48.
48 late hit?
Yeah.
Okay, taking a cheap shot. Dean, good with that?
You have it on the player that recovered the fumble?
No, sir. I've got it on the guy who just hit the guy who recovered the fumble.
Yeah, the player that recovered. Pick it up. Pick it up. There's no foul. Pick it up.
Okay.
And we're gonna.
There's no foul on the play.
He picked it up at the 31, guys.
He's going to take a time to the 31, Crystal. Move to the 31.
He picked it up at the 31.
31.
31.
31-yard line is where he picked it up. It's 4th down.
That's correct.
4th down at the 31. 4th down at the 31. Who called? St. Louis did? Great. Timeout, guys.
What down is it? What down
St.
is
Louis
it?
has called a timeout. It'll be 4th down.
Do we want to kick a field goal? Kick a field goal. Field goal, field goal, field goal. Field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. It's definitely 4th down?
Definitely 4th down. So Beck looking for all the points he can get right here.
Check. Hit it.
And it's going to be Donnie Hagman. Hagman, the man that had the game-winning field goal in Week 2 against Seattle. St. Louis could have clinched their spot with a win against Seattle in this building last week. Came up short. Now it will be in the hands of the Vegas Vipers to put the BattleHawks into the XFL playoffs. 49 yards for Hagman. The kick is up. No good. So what does Terrell Buckley and Orlando do in the final 30 seconds? And how does St. Louis respond? They absolutely cannot allow any more points. Well, the XFL has delivered overall. This is the comparison with scoring offense and defense. If both St. Louis and Seattle win, it will come down to the combined ranked in the division with scoring offense and defense. The large edge is now held by Seattle. They score more than 34 points against Vegas and allow less than 34. Seattle is in. If both teams win, the only real way you can see St. Louis, advancing is if there are a ton of points scored by Vegas against the Seattle defense.
Well, it's not over yet, Lowell. So it looks like Anthony Beck just called a timeout to challenge.
So some help from Steven Gonzalez on this challenge. There's one remaining.
Yep, normal rush, no foul. After review, there is no foul on the play. It's 1st down, Orlando.
Can't take it with you. So you lose the challenge. And what a success story the XFL has been in the city of St. Louis. And Orlando will just take a knee. Terrell Buckley learned a ton in year number 1. He's hoping to be back for a turnaround with the Guardians next year. St. Louis, however, out to a standing O from the home faithful as they put up the most points in the league this year. A.J. McCarron with the record 420.
We'll get together, play some golf, talk a little bit, chop it up. Congratulations, no doubt. Thank you.
And now, Sam, for St. Louis, they have to sit and wait.
They have to sit and wait. But more than anything, kudos to every single player in this league, every single coach in this league, all the crews who have covered this league, and most importantly, the fans who have watched the XFL last regular season week. Congratulations to you.
Colorado.